lead generation will make you money. Lead follow-up makes you the big money. So follow up on all those expireds and get the appointment.
Yeah, so to underline that and maybe put an exclamation mark behind it, guys, the prospector that moves the most dirt finds the most gold, no doubt about that. So if you want more appointments, and I know you do, you just need to create more conversations.
Hi everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Vulcan7 Coaches and Mentors, where we bring you some of the best in the industry to share with you their tips and strategies so that you can implement in your business immediately. If you haven't caught up on our previous episodes, make sure to watch them on YouTube or listen to them on your favorite streaming platforms. Now, with that being said, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the correct habits so that you can have real estate success. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on our guest for today. First, we have Shon Kokoszka, and we also have Rob Daniel. So gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us, Leda. Appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll get started first with you, Shon. If you can give us a little bit about your background for everyone that's listening.
Yeah, sure. I started in real estate sales when I was 20 years old. Now, that was 33 years ago. So do the math. I'm an old dude. Yet I have old habits. I have old strategies. And guess what? They work even in today's market. There's no doubt about that. So with that said, sold over 4,000 homes in my real estate career. I was the founder, co-founder of Keller Williams Maps Coaching. Grew that to be the largest coaching and training company that real estate has ever seen, with over 100 million in gross revenue. Now, I also founded a company called KW Maps Business Training, where we took all of our industry related topics and applied that to other industries. So I coached companies like McDonald's and Panasonic, FedEx, Sport Clips, T-Mobile, Genentech, Pepsi, GMC, and consulted those people to understand this business methodology that undoubtedly transcends industry type. So it works for them, it works for me, it'll definitely work for you, no doubt about that. So just really excited to be here. In 2016, I left Keller Williams. I became a coach, independent coach with Icon Coaching. Now, Rob Daniel, I want him to come up next because he's the CEO of our organization. He's an absolute rock star. So Rob, why don't you tell him a little bit about yourself?
Well, if you're an old dude, I'm an older dude. And so I've been in the business for 35 years and did real well. I'll give you the Reader's Digest very quickly. I had the good fortune of selling 53 houses my first year in the business, and then over 120 houses a year for about 6 years straight. And the beautiful part about it is, because I agree with Shon, we can talk about AI, we can talk about all the new things that are happening today. But again, some of the things that we grew up on, some of the things that are the foundation of our business, the real estate business, for example, expireds. I listed 7 to 8 expireds every single month for 7 years straight. I listed 4 for sell by owners for 7 years straight. And then again, as I moved on, I did also join Keller Williams, and I was a bold coach for them, a speaker. That same thing with Shon, and actually I was trained by Shon. Whenever I got there to be a bold coach, and I traveled for about 10 years. And the nice part about it, they had the first Bold Coach of the Year award, and I got that one, which was really nice, and the second one and the third one. And then I left last year and decided to join with Shon, because him and I had such a great relationship, and we just kind of related to each other, and join Icon Coaching and be able to just really take it to a whole nother level along with you guys at Vulcan7. So there you go.
That's awesome. I feel honored, and it's such a pleasure to be able to have both of you. Usually I'm just interviewing one coach, but I think with the knowledge of both of you combined, everyone that's listening, hopefully they're going to rewatch this episode and take down a lot of notes. So with that being said, I want to talk about, first, let's talk about expireds. So Shon, obviously you have seen the changes and a lot of things happening with expired. So what are some of the strategies that you usually teach your agents to, get more listings that way?
Well, before we get into that, let's talk first about the most important thing, which is, why do listings expire? There's only one reason, you guys. There's only one reason. It's because it's overpriced. We get this, right? I mean, I've sold homes that back up to 8-lane highways and 50 decibels in the backyard. You can't even have a conversation back there. Yet we sold them because we priced them appropriately. So if you're having a challenge getting a listing sold, remember, only one reason. Now, one of the strategies I would encourage you to engage with is, after the listing contract is signed, simply say, if we have 5 showings without a single offer, or if we go 2 weeks without a single showing, just set the expectation. We're going to reach out to you. I want you to expect a phone call from me, expecting for me to ask you for a price reduction. And actually, I wouldn't say price reduction. I would say price improvement, okay? Price improvement. So let's first kind of lock that back door, if you will. You get them in the front door. You work so hard to take the listing, and then it expires. Ouch. That sucks. Nobody likes that. So what you need to do is set the appropriate expectation. Now, as you reach out to expired listings, well, it's simply a matter of positioning yourself to be front of mind, to own that business. Now, Rob, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I want you to talk about some of the scripts, the dialogues that you use to list so many expired listings.
Yeah, you know something, Shon, and the biggest thing is the lead generation part, picking up the phone and making it happen. I mean, a lot of us are just kind of a little bit scared of expireds because they think they're going to eat us or they don't like us. And by the way, they don't really like us right now. Why? Because they didn't sell their house, and you've got to get over that. Whenever they give you the objection, because one of the scripts that I use and always use, hi, how you doing? My name is Rob Daniel. You know, I saw your house come off the market, and I was just giving you a call to see if you have any intentions of going with another real estate agent. And no matter what they say, because one of the first things, I hate all you real estate agents. I can appreciate that. I'm going for sub-owner. I can appreciate that. I'm doing this. I can appreciate that. You agree with them. But let me ask you this. If you had sold with that other real estate agent, where are you moving to next? You see, they want to tell you. They want to tell you where they're going next, and that's their happy place. So take them out of the situation they're in and put them into their happy place. Well, I'm going to move. I'm going to California. Ooh, what a wonderful place. I'm going to Florida. Ooh, what a wonderful place. I'm going to Fargo, North Dakota. Oh, what a cold, wonderful place. But again, every place is wonderful, right? Because that's where they're going. And you stay with it. And I'm going to give you this tip here. Keep them in their happy place. And bam, when the defense is down, get the appointment. Get the appointment to go talk to them. They'll try to bring you back to talk about the realtor. Don't talk about them. They're going to try to bring you back to talk about the house and why it didn't sell. Don't talk about it. Keep them in their happy place. Get the appointment. And then all of you talkers, get off the phone. All of you that want to say something else, get off the phone, because they're going to take you somewhere where you don't. And I'll say one other thing about expireds real quick. Follow up when you call them. Follow up when you call them. Call them the first time. Call them back the second time. Leave a message the second time. Hi, this is Rob. I saw your house come off the market. I was just giving you a call to see if you have any intentions of going with another real estate agent. Hey, listen, give me a call. Here's what I always said. Give me a call. And if you don't call me, don't worry. I'll call you back. Always say that at the very end. Hey, if you don't call me, I'll call you. Don't worry about it. And then later on you do another voice. Hey, I'm a man of my word. I was just giving you a call. And so follow up. Always remember this, and I'll turn it back over to you. Lead generation will make you money. Lead follow-up makes you the big money. So follow up on all those expireds and get the appointment. You got this.
Yeah. So to underline that and maybe put an exclamation mark behind it, guys, the prospector that moves the most dirt finds the most gold. No doubt about that. So if you want more appointments, and I know you do, you just need to create more conversations. If you want more contracts, And again, I know you do, you need more appointments. When's the last time you signed a contract without an appointment? It just doesn't happen, right? It can happen, don't get me wrong. Yet, if you want more money, you need more contracts. If you want more contracts, you need more appointments. If you want more appointments, you just simply need to create more conversations. And that's what Vulcan7 does. They give you the data. Everything starts with list building. So once you get these expireds, the script is really, really simple. It's not hard. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. We get that. So hello, thank you for taking my call. I would encourage you to always thank them for taking your call. See, people don't answer their phones like they used to. So when they do, give them a big thank you. What that does, it creates that reciprocity to where they feel that they need to hear you out. Now, this is Shon Kokoszka with eXp Realty. Your house has shown up in our database as a home that did not sell. Let me ask, why do you think your home didn't sell during the original listing period? Now, since I specialize in houses that didn't sell the first time around, I'm calling to see when we can get together. Just 15 minutes so I can show you how to get your house sold for top dollar. Do weekdays or weekends generally work best for you? I mean, guys, it's a direct ask. And I think people in our society today, they appreciate this direct approach. I think you would all agree. All right, so there's 5 common objections that you're going to experience when calling expired listings. Number 1, I'm going to stay with the same agent. Wow. Number 2, I'm going to sell it myself. I'm going to go for sale by owner. Number 3, I'm taking it off the market. We decided not to move. Number 4, I've already found another agent. Number 5, where were you when my house was on the market? I mean, you didn't show my house. So with these 5 common objections, and guys, what I want to do is I want to give you access to the objection handlers that have been proven, time tested to get you that appointment. Now remember, the goal of the initial appointment is simply to set an appointment. That's it. I mean, like Rob said, don't get into this, don't get into that. Just focus on getting the appointment set. And when you do, then you can get that at bat. You can get that face-to-face appointment and give them your listing presentation.
So as we continue talking about expireds and, everything that Rob mentioned, that you, Shon, just mentioned, I usually get the question from agents that are saying, I'm calling expireds, but sometimes I feel hesitant to continue asking questions because I feel like I'm bothering or I'm bugging. How can I continue the conversation going? What are some techniques that maybe you can
Well, my
share?
input would be, first and foremost, why are you so judgmental? I mean, seriously, shouldn't it be up to them? Shouldn't it be up to them whether or not you're bothering them?
That's and Shon, can I interrupt there and just say one thing? Don't put your beliefs on everybody else. Don't put your thinking on everybody else. And that's all I want to say. I'm sorry, Shon, for interrupting you on that one.
No, you're 100% spot on, Rob. So thank you for knocking that right on the head. For sure. I mean, that was exactly what these people need to hear, is that we tend to prejudge the situation. Oh, I'm bothering them. Really? Are you? I want you to imagine just for a moment, this is a widower who, if she doesn't sell this property, is going to lose it. She's going to lose all of her equity. She's going to be destitute, broke, just living on the streets, essentially. And you're afraid to make that call because you're prejudging the situation. Don't do that. No, what you're doing is you're bringing them a gift. You really are. You're bringing them the gift of your talent. And when you look at it that way, then, that whole call reluctance thing, it kind of goes away. And that's what we want to see happen. See, the number of conversations leads to the number of appointments. The number of appointments leads to the number of contracts. The number of contracts leads to the bank account balance that you desire to have. So why are you holding yourself back? Just stop it. That's all I'll say. Just stop it.
You know something, Shon? You know the reason a lot of people don't, a lot of realtors don't call is because they don't like to be called. A lot of people don't door knock because they don't like to be door knocked. But again, that's what I keep saying. Don't put your belief on on everybody else. We need to call them because there are those people, like you said, that need our help. And sometimes they don't even know who to call. You call enough of them, you're going to find those people that say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for calling me. Here's what's happened in my life.
No doubt. No doubt. See, I specialize in homes that didn't sell the first time around. Even the best homes don't sell the first time around. It just takes a new marketing approach, a new strategy like I use to get them sold for top dollar in the shortest amount of time. So tell me, when is the best time we can get together? Is it mornings or afternoons? I mean, it's really that simple, you guys. It doesn't have to be complicated. And so what if they hang up on you? So what if they call you a jerk? It doesn't matter. It's a numbers game. I mean, the more conversations you create, the more money you're going to make. So let's just imagine for a moment that you need to make 100 calls, 100 dials to create, say, 20 live conversations. Now, out of those 20 live conversations, let's say that one person says yes, just one, and you make, I don't know, $10,000 on that one transaction. For the 100 dials you made, every one of those dials was worth $100. You guys get this? So if that person's a jerk and they told you to piss off and go away, don't ever call me again, that's okay. Just simply think every conversation has a monetary value. So when they tell you to piss off and go away, don't ever call me again, I hate realtors, you're a jerk, and they slam the phone down, just say, hey, thanks for the $100. Because that's what you made during that call that was maybe a little bit disruptive, okay? That's what you made.
But you know, Shon, I've always had the attitude they have every right if they want to hang up on us because they didn't ask us to call. They have every right if they want to say a few words to us, beep, 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 and hang up, right? They have every right because they didn't ask us to call. And so I'm okay with that, and everybody has to be okay with that. Here's what I would say, my last part here. When I came into the business my first year, I decided I was going on 100 expireds or call 100 or door knock 100 expireds before I ever gave up. So, and I did. And that's how I, really became an expert with expireds, mastered expireds because that's determined 100. And I just say that to everybody, give it a shot 100, not three. Give it and then say, oh, it doesn't work for me. Do 100. And I promise you, somewhere around the 30th or 40th time, you'll start learning how to handle them and get the appointment. But don't give up on them.
I can tell, from my personal experience, for me, it was a shift in my mindset, kind of like what you guys are mentioning. Instead of thinking that I was bothering the expired, I was telling myself, you know what, someone needs my help. I need to get to that homeowner that needs to make this move, something happened. And if I don't call them, there's going to be another agent that might not deliver the same service. So I need to get to them first. Right. And going back to what you just said, Rob, of, people cussing you out and beep, beep, beep. For me, I laughed and I said, perfect. I'm getting closer to that person that actually needs me. I'm glad I got this one out of the way. Right. I'm not going to listen to them. I need to move on. There's no point in listening to people that are just, not even appreciating, or maybe they don't realize that they actually do need another.
We take it too personal. We take this stuff too personal. It's a business, it really is. And we take it too personal. It's not personal. They have the right to do what they do. If we were door knocking and they slammed the door in our face, so many realtors quit at that time when we don't even know what was going on with them whenever we did call them or door knock them. And by the way, let me say this. If somebody slams and they were just jerks and they slammed the door in your face or they hang up, listen, they went on to lunch and didn't give you another thought. They went on about their business and didn't give you another thought. If you're all jacked up and messed up and you quit and all this, then they just you let them control your life. They went on to lunch and didn't give you another thought.
Yes, I love that because I hear agents, even when it comes to follow-up, they say, oh, well, they're going to bring up the conversation. I'm like, they probably don't even remember the conversation that you last had with them. So just reach out. What's the worst that can happen? They're like, no thanks.
Hey, I got this. I used to call them early in the morning. And the ones that would cuss me out and hang up, I always called them back at 10 o'clock. And here's all I said. Hi, how you doing? This is Rob Daniel. I know I interrupted your breakfast or this morning, and I do apologize. Are you still mad? That's all you have to ask. Are you still mad? And half of them would laugh like you guys and say, oh, no, come on over. And the other half would cuss me out again and hang up. You call them back in 2 weeks. Hey, I called you 2 weeks ago. Are you still mad? I mean, never give up.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about follow-up, and we'll throw it back to you, Shon, because, follow-up, a lot of agents, sometimes that's where they miss opportunities. They get them the first time and then they just fizzle out. So what would a proper follow-up look like for an expired?
I think Rob just nailed it right on the head. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person, right? So it's a matter of showing up. And yet, top producer in coordination with 5 Street did a case study for all of us. And now, by the way, these are leads that these agents paid for, an average of $12 per lead. And the average attempts to follow up was just 1.2 times. I mean, with their voice over IP, with their app, they could tell how many times the agent attempted to follow up with the lead that they provided to them. 1.2 times, and then they just threw it in the trash can. Now, in the same case study, it suggests that if you attempt to reach a prospect 6 times for 6 days in a row, well, your chances of converting that to a commission check increases by, hear this, 900%. 900%. So the fortune is in the follow-up. The prospector that moves the most dirt finds the veins of gold. We get this, right? So you just need to move the dirt. You have to get through those people who beep, 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 hang up on you, whatever. Yeah, you have to get through those people. And then you're going to find the person who's ready, willing, and able to engage your services. Then it's a matter of unique value proposition. I mean, what makes you stand out beyond every other agent out there? Why would I engage with you? Here's the question for you guys. If I were to buy a home in your market area, why would I choose you? If I were to list my house for sale in your market area, why would I choose you? And coming up with that unique value proposition, your elevator pitch, I think is critically important to be able to differentiate yourself from everybody else, to be able to stand out amongst the crowd of other agents, right? So follow up. Just make the phone calls. And Rob, I think you hit the nail on the head, no doubt about that. Any other thoughts from you, Rob?
I was just a crazy person. That's why I was able to list 7 or 8 every month, because okay, so I had a system, and the first 7 days, you did 6, I did 7 days, business days. But here's what I did, and I know I was crazy. I called them. If I didn't get a hold of them, I called them 5 times a day. I called them at 8, 10, 12, 15, 4, and 7. I left 2 messages, one at 10 and one at 4. And I did that for 7 days straight. I promised them I would call them back. And by the way, 12:15, not 12 o'clock. You do 12:15, because if you're going to call them for lunch, you got to give them time to get to their house for lunch, because they usually are living close to where they live. But I did call. But then if I didn't get them within 7 days, I put them in another system where I called them once every single month. Once a month, and just calling. And here's the only thing I said. Hi, this is Rob. I just was giving you a call to see if anything changed. Has anything changed? And that's all you have to say sometimes. Has anything changed? And because sometimes things change in their life.
I think we want to talk a little bit about standards and habits today as well. Right? The challenge is, when you first start into this, guys, it's not a habit. And think about the last time you had a New Year's resolution. Okay, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week, right? And the first week, guess what? You did it. You went 5 days a week. It felt so good. Then the next week, life kind of got in the way, didn't it? And you went maybe 3 times. Then the next week you went once. And 6 months later, you haven't been to the gym in 3 months. That's how it works, right? Is that we have not formed the habit. Now, many of you have heard the expression that it takes 21 days to form a habit, no doubt. And yet, when I was collaborating with Gary Keller and Jay Papasan in the writing of the book, The One Thing, we could find 0 evidence that it was 21 days to form a habit. 0. It was coined by Napoleon Hill so many years ago, yet 21 days is nowhere close to the amount of time required to form a habit. So what we did uncover is the research by Megan Oaten out of the University College of London in Australia. And her research suggests that it takes an average of 66 days to form a habit. 66 days. So 21 days, less than a third of the amount of time required to form the habit. Charles Duhigg, we also uncovered his research. He's the founder of The Power of Habit, or the book. He's the author of The Power of Habit, right? And with that said, guys, it's 66 days of sustained discipline. Now, I want you to imagine an L-shaped graph, okay? Now, the vertical line represents the amount of discipline required to sustain the activity. And then the horizontal part of the graph represents the number of days. So you can imagine what this curve looks like, right? When you first start something, it requires an incredible amount of discipline. I mean, you have to just really push yourself to do this day in and day out. Yet as the time goes on, the graph, it starts to come down and it starts to narrow out. Now, what Megan Oten was looking for was the point of what I now call automaticity, where when you wake up, you know exactly what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. You've already built your list the day before. You know who you're going to call, what you're going to say, how you're going to say it. And then, of course, it's about saying it to enough people. Yet the graph, it comes down like this. What she was looking for was that point of automaticity, which is when you first start, it's 95% discipline, 5% habit. Yet over time, it drops and it inverses, and it's 95% habit and 5% discipline. See, when I think of this, and I'm going to tell a quick story that I've told many times because it's one of my favorite stories. It's one of my key epiphanies in my life, where my wife and I, by the way, are high school sweethearts. Okay, we met in the 7th grade, and we started dating when we were 16 years old, and married at 21, had our first child at 28, and now we have 3 beautiful kids and coming up on 32 years of marriage. Okay, so with that said, we're 17 years old. We decide we're going to go see a movie. It's a Friday night, and we invite her older sister, who's 4 years older, and her sister's new boyfriend. I hadn't met this guy yet we invited them to go to a movie. So I agreed I would drive, and I pull up to the house to pick them up. And this guy comes out of the house, and I got to tell you, this dude was like built. I mean, he had muscle on muscle. I'm telling you, this guy was like a professional bodybuilder, like 7% body fat, just totally shredded, totally ripped. And so I'm 17 years old, though. I want to look like him. Yeah. I wish I did, but I don't. Yet I got to know him. His name was Paul. I said, "Hey, Paul, how often do you go to the gym?" He said, "Every day." I said, "Every day? Like even Sundays?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, how long is your workout?" He said, "Well, at least 2 hours." I was like, "Oh my God, 2 hours every day? You got to be kidding me." I said, "Paul, how do you do it?" He looked at me like I was crazy. And this was the epiphany, you guys. He said, "Shon, it's just something I do." So you get the point. It's just something I do. He's brought this activity of going to the gym for 2 hours every day to the point of automaticity. It's a habit. And guess what? Paul gets to look the way Paul looks because of the habit. It's a part of his, his self-image. Yet, guys, how about you? I mean, what is that habit? What is that activity that if you just did that every single day, your business could look like Paul's body looked? You with me? What is that habit? And to me, it's setting a standard, a minimum of 10 live conversations every single day. And when you do that, guys, your business is going to change in the next 90 days in such a powerful way. You're going to have more business than you've ever had before. You're going to have more money in your bank account than you've ever had before. And that's what I want to see for each and every one of you. Yet, it's a matter of identifying the activity or activities that you want to build habits around. So there's just a handful of things, just 5 things that are going to move the needle for your net income, your net worth, your ability to retire from real estate. Just 5 things. Number 1, practice. Practice. Now, many of you think, well, practice makes perfect. Get that stuff out of your head. That doesn't work. Now, practice makes you better. There's no such thing as perfect, okay? So practice makes you better. Now, repetition is not the mother of all skills, as people say. It's about evaluated repetition. So after every practice and role play session, you're going to ask yourself, how would I rate that on a scale from 0 to 10? Let's say it's an 8. Okay, what can I do to make it a 10? If it's a 10, what can I do to make it a 15? So it's about evaluated repetition. See, the archer who misses the bullseye turns and looks for fault within themselves, right? I mean, it's never the bullseye's fault if you miss the target. So if you missed to the left last time, well, guess what? You better aim to the right the next time. And I want you to view your practice like that. Is that while we're striving for perfection, just recognize that it just makes you better. That's all. So if you don't have a script and role play partner and accountability buddy, I would encourage you to reach out to somebody. Get somebody engaged where you could every single morning just touch base. It's not a long call, it's a short call, yet 15 minutes where you're going to practice your lead follow-up, your expireds, your for sale by owners, your door knocking scripts, your open house strategies. You're going to talk through these things because clarity is the goal here. In absence of clarity, we have complexity. And complexity, to me, is the enemy of clarity. And if we have mist in our minds, it becomes the fog within our production. Okay, so number one, practice, practice, practice. And I don't care if you're a 35-year veteran like Rob, okay? Practice isn't something we did, it's something that we do consistently to sharpen our skills. Number two, once you know what to say and how to say it, then it's about saying it to enough people. So number two is lead generation. And this is where Vulcan7 really comes in, and they give you the data that you need in order to make those conversations happen. They do the list building for you. And everything starts with list building, okay? Number three is lead follow-up and conversion. Now, to me, these three things are AM tasks. You do it first thing in the morning. Let's say from 8:30 in the morning till noon, all you do is focus on those three things, which means that you're not going to have final walkthroughs in the AM hours. You're not going to have closings. You're not going to have home inspections. You're going to focus on your priority. Now, with that said, I think the mistake a lot of agents make is that the first thing they do is they open their email inbox. That's a challenge because your priority does not exist in your email inbox. It just doesn't. Once you open that inbox, you've made the conscious decision to begin managing everybody else's priorities instead of your own. Your priority, well, there's three things. Practice first. Now, by the way, there's a common misconception with the book, The One Thing, is that it's just one thing. Now, nothing is further from the truth, gang. It's not just one thing, yet it is one thing at a time. Success is sequential. It's not simultaneous. So one thing at a time. So you're going to start with practice. You're going to have a time block for that. Then you're going to focus on lead generation. You'll have a time block for that. Then you're going to focus on lead follow-up. Those three things in the AM hours of the day are going to change your world. Just focus on it. Now, many people say, well, yeah, a time block from 8:30 to 12. I don't have that discipline. You don't yet, and that's okay because it's about habit formation. It's going to take an average of 66 days of discipline to get you to form the habit. I totally get that. So anybody can do anything for 25 minutes. So imagine from 8:30 till 8:45, you're going to do your practice, Then to 8:45, you're going to go for 25 minutes where you're going to focus solely on lead generation. Maybe it's expired listings. Then you're going to take a 5-minute break, go get a cup of coffee, go take your dog for a quick walk. And then 5 minutes later, for 25 minutes, you're going to call for sale by owners. Then you're going to take a 5-minute break. And for 25 minutes, you're going to call your sphere of influence. Then you're going to take a 5-minute break. And then for 25 minutes, you're going to do your lead follow-up. You're going to focus on conversion. Anybody can do anything for 25 minutes, okay? And as you focus on discipline, the habit begins to form. I mean, how do you think these agents that I've had the opportunity to coach are closing over 8,000 transactions per year? It's because they started in the I do it phase, then we shift to the we do it phase, then they get to the they do it phase. But yet it starts with you. It starts with your habits and how you're going to approach this business. So the first three things: practice, lead generation, lead follow-up. That leads to the PM tasks, which is going on appointments and then negotiating contracts. Guys, I don't care what you do after 12 o'clock. I mean, seriously, go sit on the couch and watch Netflix. Do whatever you want. Yet the simple point is that if you did that from 8:30 to 12 o'clock every day, you won't have time to watch Netflix because your schedule is going to be filled with more appointments and more contracts to negotiate.
So just like you mentioned, you're coaching these agents. So tell us about your coaching program and how agents can reach out. For all of the agents that are listening and they're thinking, I love what Rob and Shon have mentioned. I want to learn more about the coaching that they're doing. Where can you tell us a little bit more about the coaching? Where can they find you and all of that?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. Well, first of all, you can reach me, and I can get it out to our other coaches at rob@iconcoaching.com. rob@iconcoaching.com. We have a wonderful coaching program, a mentor program. We have a mastermind program. And so we have everything for you from A to Z with Icon Coaching. And I can say this to you, we have a track record that is above many others. So make sure that you reach out to us just to inquire, just to inquire. Matter of fact, we will give some of you, I'll tell you the first 5 that reaches out, we'll give you a 30-minute free coaching call. And so why don't you do that? The first 5 that reaches out at rob@iconcoaching.com, we will give you free coaching call for 30 minutes. So do that for us. But that's where you can reach us. And I can tell you, it'll be a wonderful time.
Yeah, you can also go to iconcoaching.com. That's ICON coaching.com. There's a resources tab. And guys, there are hundreds of documents, scripts, dialogues, videos, webinars, mastermind sessions, replays that you can watch there. Guys, see, your business, your production, your net worth, it's going to grow to the extent that you personally grow. So I encourage you to go to iconcoaching.com, click on the resources tab. You can also sign up for a free coaching session there. So check it out when you get a chance. And thank you for having us on today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to make sure to have all of the links in the description box below. So with that being said, gentlemen, thank you so much for today, for all of the knowledge that you dropped. I'm sure we're going to have to do this again, talk about for sale by owners. And for those of you that are watching, watch the replay, listen to what Rob and Shon said, because it was fire. So thank you once again. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.